I'm an Army medic. I was an 82nd paratrooper medic. Now I don't do them. I work somewhere else. But when I was there, I am one of like four medics in 2022 that got to work with Airforce IDMTs, trauma teams, surgeons, paramedics, ER nurses. Like they were all the IDMTs. Their legal qualification was a bare minimum of a complicated paramedic level thing. Like all these people are medical insane degrees, and not legally I'm only an EMT, but obviously Army medics we work higher than that. But man, I got to work with them. The first 2-3 days was just in house. You know, they were just going over medical shenanigans. To them, it was just medical shenanigans. For me, somewhere I got my notepad still. I was taking down notes of everything because like all the stuff that they referred to as just common practice, I didn't understand. I learned how to use I believe it's called a fast 2 or a fast. It's like an iPad with a stick, with a cord and a stick, and it's basically for it's like an iPad for ultrasounding people. So I learned how to do ultrasounds and look for like see if blood's coagulating anywhere in the body, how to give a deep stick using the ultrasound to guide your needle. Like that was so cool. We had these dog mannequins that were based on the canine dogs that the military uses, and you learned how to treat them. You learned what kind, like they have special tourniquets for the dogs because normal tourniquets don't work as well. They learned like for dogs you can still use Hexten on people. Like the guidance was still the same. The dogs have a higher natural core temp than humans do. So what we consider heat catting in a human is heat catting in a dog. We learned that you can just inject fluids into a dog between the skin and the normal layer to give them like little extra fluid because if you're going on a mission. So much cool stuff. So many different tactics. Like for example, now I rock a battle belt when I go out to do coverage because it's convenient, better coverage, and it's just really good to have a battle belt. I didn't really know anything about battle belts, but I see all these IDMTs running a battle belt, and I'm like, man, I wish I had a dump pouch right now. So it was a fantastic learning experience for me. Since I believe, I don't remember if I was a PFC or I was probably a specialist. No, I was definitely a specialist, but it was just a phenomenal learning opportunity for me. Being one of 4 Army medics got to do it. Literally, we had a patient, treated them, put them in a vehicle, evac them, made sure they were stable, loaded them into an aircraft, flew around, did interventions up there, and so certain things that you do with interventions, you make little air bubbles through syringes, and when you go up there, it's like, all right, I need to use saline, because if I don't use saline, the air pressure when you go up and down can change and make the bubble get smaller or bigger. You don't want to pop and or get it smaller because it's not effective, so you got to use saline for that type of stuff. And it's like, how do you secure them down in an aircraft? You got to talk to the pilots where you do procedures, all these different things. Which there's a lot of stuff that wasn't for me. It was for like the the PAs and the IDMTs and the nurses and whatever. But I was able to learn so much and develop myself and just become more confident in my trauma skills of just trauma medicine. And that really was a good reaffirming statement of like, hey, like I got this. I'm working well with these professionals that are actually professionals. Because it's easy to doubt yourself in the military. It's just like, because you don't do your job, man. We're not doing our job a whole lot. And it's just good to reaffirm that, hey, everything I know works. I'm proud of myself. It's good. Not to mention, like, I got great contacts now if I need to reach out for stuff. And so many benefits, but just going to work with these people. It's all about connections and just making bonds and alliances and whatever. But, yeah, oh, man, we got these patients, man. We get this patient. We held on to them for like 8 or 10 hours or something on like the very last patient or whatever. Funny enough, so when we're working in a team, instead of it normally just being you have your one aid bag and it's meant for everything that you need, we had different aid bags, and so we allocated. My aid bag held just this stuff. This aid bag held your machines. This aid bag held this. This aid bag held this. And so my aid bag, cheap Army one that I had, or not, well, I bet they're not cheap because the Army buys them, but the crappy Army one that I have, so held typical Class A stuff, like nothing super fancy. I'm the first shift on this patient. We hold on to them for about an hour, 2 hours, I think. 2 hours we watched them, stabilize them. I learned procedures. I learned how Foley catheters work from the PA. Gave me a private lesson on them, and I was just like, all right, this is good knowledge to have. And he taught me all the intricacies of them. Then, I get to take like my hour and a half nap. Wasn't even that long. Take my nap. I wake up, and they're like, "Hey, sorry, we broke your aid bag." I'm whatever. I got 550. I tie it together. It's whatever. Uh, do my next shift. They go to take their second nap. They take their second nap. So they had an hour and a half, then they had or 2 hours. Then I got my 2 hours. I got a little under 2 hours. They go to take 2 hours. At the end of 2 hours, we're on to the dude. We do whatever. We switch off. I go to bed. Not even 4 minutes into it, there's an emergency. We get called. We go down there. The dude has had a heart attack, or we had another dude show up who was like having cardiac arrest or something. Uh, we try to do all these interventions to fix him, and we're like, hey, the dude's still conscious. I'm like, I got aspirin. And they're like, really? I actually had aspirin. We take it out, give the dude aspirin. We are the only group that gave their patient aspirin. Now, to clarify, unfortunately, every single dude with the heart attack symptoms or cardiac arrest, none of them survived. All of them died. But we were the only group that gave their patient aspirin. And, like, you can't just BS, I got aspirin. You gotta show them the aspirin tablets. I actually carried aspirin tablets just because on my very first field problem, I had a dude who was having chest pains. And I was like, all right, I need to make sure I have this stuff, future reference. I did have other stuff, and it worked out because I monitored him. He was okay. I gave him all his heartburn stuff. But it was just like, all right, I need to carry aspirin for future reference. And yeah, I at the end of it, since they broke my aid bag, they gave me one of their aid bags. I still rock it. It's a Mystery Ranch. It's a phenomenal aid bag. But yeah, the Archangel exercise, fantastic training. I wish more people could go through it, and it was more. It's good. It's so good to do it, and it's when I went into it at the very beginning, I was so doubtful of myself because I'm like, I'm only legally an EMT. I'm the bottom of this barrel, and I'm sure to a sense I am, but you really gain confidence in yourself. I can tell. It doesn't matter that they got more degrees than me. They've been a little longer than me. They outrank me or whatever. But when you're doing medicine, none of that really matters too much, at least in military trauma medicine. You just talk to each other. You guys all know what's going on. If they're making a mistake, you call them out. If you're making a mistake, they call you out. And no one's mad at anyone. You just get the job done. You save the lives and you move on. And it's an incredible experience. So yeah, working with the Air Force was pretty awesome.